Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Business Essentials podcast. I'm your host, Veronica, and today we're going to be speaking with Alena Le Blanc. She is a fashion designer and a personal stylist. If you want to learn how to look good, feel good, and be successful, stay tuned, and I'll be right back right after this.
Tony Robbins once said, "No matter how many mistakes you make or how slow you progress, you are still way ahead of everyone who isn't trying." This is the Biz Essentials. You want to grow, get ahead, keep the spark. Here you'll get valuable insights and empowerment to grow personally and professionally. Isn't it about time you turn your dreams into successful passion projects? Learn how to be productive, be successful, be joyful, and more importantly, be yourself. The B Essentials. This is the Biz Essentials. And this is your host, Veronica of Veronica Ventures.
I am so excited to have you on the show because I was like, oh my gosh, a fashion guru. I need you in my life. And not because I want to be, one of those models in France that walks down the runway, but simply because those who have known me and have followed me on social media, I have been, or was not anymore, overweight since I was 7, 8 years old. I always grew up buying whatever clothes just fit. And especially since our family didn't have a whole lot of money. It wasn't like I'm going to go to a boutique and pick out those kind of clothes. It was just okay, well, this is fits and maybe it's from the women's department instead of the kids department. And that kind of sucks. So, my own personal trauma aside, I never got to develop a fashion sense. That and being way self-conscious wanted me to kind of hide who I am. So that's a whole nother psychological aspect. Now, I can't be the only one that feels this way. So if this feels like you, stick around because I'm going to ask all kinds of questions. And why don't we start off with you telling us a little bit about yourself and what it is that you do?
My name is Alena Le Blanc, and over the past year, I actually started my own personal styling company. My background is in fashion design, and I just knew that I wanted to have a bigger impact on people besides just designing clothes and adding more to what there already is. There's so many options to be able to really help people single in and feel really good in their clothes. So helping them curate their own personal style that represents their personality and how they want to feel. And so far, it's been amazing. And I love to have such a positive impact on people because I know so many people do have really terrible experiences when it comes to their past and clothes. Like you were saying, a lot of people want to just cover up or hide. And instead, you can be wearing clothes that make you feel really good and excited every day. Getting dressed should not be a struggle. It should be something fun that you look forward to. So if I can help even a little with that, I'm so excited to help people.
Yeah, that is amazing. I mean, there's always that old adage, dress for success. But I think a lot of us, when we think that or see that, think be a power suit kind of person. There's the whole segment of the population that don't believe that, dressing for success just means feeling good in your clothes. And then there's the whole segment of the population that don't know how to get there because it's such a huge daunting thing. When you look at fashion magazines or a how-to kind of thing, it's literally either dressing for success as a power broker or dressing for success as a runway model, neither of which fit me or my personality. So it's really hard to know where to get good information. So I'm excited you're here.
The majority of people are not looking to wear buttoned up suits every single day, or they're not trying to be an Instagram fashion blogger. So there's so many real people that it's so exciting that I can make an impact on their lives just by helping them and using style as a tool to get there.
Right. At least I know for me, when I actually think I look good, which is not super often, but when I look at the mirror, I'm like, dang, that's a really cute outfit. Usually it's clothes that I borrowed from somebody else, just to be clear. But when that happens, I feel so much better. So I can see how that would be such a huge impact on people, both in their personal and professional lives. From the people that you've worked with, how is it that personal style has helped them with their success, or what kind of things do you see?
So I think a lot of the people that I work with, they just want to feel really good and they're overwhelmed. So many people have all of these clothes in their closet. And I think it's you only wear 20% of what you own in your closet, which is crazy to think because that could be just a handful of clothes and you have all of these other clothes. So helping them to really understand what looks good on them, what fits, what feels really good, and kind of to sift through all the other things to make their lives a lot easier. So when they open their closet, they're not like, oh my gosh, I have no idea what to wear. I don't know what looks good. To help them kind of break that down into, I'm only keeping clothes that feel good and look really good on me. And they know that because all of them have worked with me. So they know what looks and feels the best. And then to be able to offer them like insight of how they want to feel and to make sure that their clothes reflect that. How I usually work with people is it will start with creating like an inspiration board to see styles that they're drawn to. And we'll kind of dig a little bit deeper on that to see why. Like, why do they like this? Do they like the color? Do they like the silhouette? Is it just the whole outfit? So I get to learn more about them first, which is really nice because then I'm able to find pieces for them that really fit. And then when we're going through their wardrobe, they'll have something that's like so far off of their like vision and they'll be confused by it. So I'll say like, well, we can donate this and someone else who would actually really love this can wear this instead of it just sitting in your closet and causing more confusion. I think just like getting down to what they want their style to be, how they want to feel in their clothes, and then simplifying their wardrobe in a way that makes sense to them. One of my last clients who I'm so excited about, she was telling me she wanted to really invest in herself and she wanted to hire me because she wanted to feel like amazing every day and she wanted to land her dream job and she wants to show up as that person now. For her, her style is really fun and creative and she wants to feel like that all the time. And so when we started working together, we kind of got rid of a lot of the items that just didn't feel exciting to her and didn't feel special. She's very outgoing and she has a position where she is in the public. So she wants to be able to represent herself well, like on camera or off camera when she's just in her normal life, going out with friends. For her, it was like very important that she's going to elevate her style and show up as the woman that she wants to be. We found pieces that were really special for her and really high quality so that when she puts them on, she knows that they feel really great and she's confident in what she owns. And she landed her dream job. Oh, she just told me that recently. I was so excited.
That's amazing. Yeah. It's that confidence. I'm sure the confidence boost has a great deal to do with it. So that's fantastic. I love hearing that. And I could totally relate because I could tell you about 90% of the clothes in my closet I don't wear. And a lot of them are not only space fillers, but ones that don't drive spark. And I know this for a fact because I look in my closet every day and go, what am I going to wear? And so what you said totally drove it in home for me. And I think a lot of that has to do, like I said, when growing up, I just wore whatever I could fit into. And then also like now it kind of trips me up because I'm like, okay, I find a t-shirt or something that I like. I'm like, okay, I have to buy it in every color because it fits and it looks good.
A lot of people do that.
You know, even 2 years ago for me, that was a huge deal. Like if I found a shirt that fit and it looked decent, like I'm going to buy every color they own because that's hard to find. And so it becomes like a whole change in my own mental mindset that I clearly I'm still working through. But what can people look for in the way that the clothes fit or feel that kind of helps them feel that sense of confidence and feeling great to do great things?
So I think a lot of the times focusing on quality is very important. So fabrics that really feel good on your skin and you're investing in higher quality pieces. I know not everyone is able to spend like $1 million on their wardrobe, but to be able to find some pieces that feel really good and you can utilize them in a lot of different ways, it's so impactful. Like one of the sites I love is The Real, which is consignment designer clothes, and they actually have great prices, but you can find really special pieces that feel unique to you. So you can look on their website. They have some stores that are like brick and mortar stores you can go into, but they have really high quality pieces that you can feel the difference. Like feel something more substantial. So for pants or something like that, you don't want anything like so thin that you feel uncomfortable in and you're like, oh, you can kind of see my lumps and bumps in this, but you can focus on a quality that is like a little bit heavier weight and it like really drapes your body. I would say my biggest fit tip, that's like the most important thing, is to find a great tailor. A great tailor can make almost anything look good on you. And I think it's great to invest in a tailor because then you'll have everything that feels like custom to your body. You know, when you put it on, it's going to feel amazing. Like whether that's a blazer or whether that's pants, you're going to put it on and you're going to feel so good because it's meant to fit you.
Wow. Yeah. That's something I hadn't thought of because I mean, clothing manufacturers make everything the same size, although they're all different sizes, which drives me crazy, but whatever. And so I could see how having a tailor would be quite a benefit. I wouldn't have thought that for like everyday clothes. Obviously, you think wedding dresses and suits. That's what I think, like that's what you go to a tailor for. Everything else, you're on your SOL, like if it doesn't fit, your body's wrong.
Well, I think that's a hard part with the fashion industry too, is because every brand caters to different sizing. So every brand has a different like sample size. So they have a fit model that they work on. So all the sizes are based off these fit models, and these fit models might be so far away from like what your actual body is. But I do think it's great when you do find a brand that fits, and that is something you can remember and go back to. For instance, jeans. I think jeans are probably one of the hardest things for people to find jeans that feel really good and fit really well. Regardless of that's like the rise of the pant, if you want a high rise, mid rise, or how the cut of the jean is. But if you find a good brand, then typically I would say you can find different styles or different washes and colors in those. And I think that's like a great place to start for jeans. So if you find one, then I do kind of recommend sticking to that.
Yeah, I can totally relate. Okay, so when I first started losing weight, my friend Marissa, who is actually really good at fashion, she took me shopping because one of our other friends was having a big birthday party and I wanted to look someone decent. And I didn't have any clothes. And so she took me to like the Nordstrom rack. Going with her, like what you said about the jeans, I put on this pair of jeans and I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know jeans could be soft and amazing. Like yes. I put on a pair of Democracy jeans. I'm like, where have these been my entire life? These fit so different than Walmart jeans. Like,
oh, it makes a huge difference. And even if the fabric, like the content is the same, like say it's 98% cotton and 2% spandex, like they can fit so different. So you can't just go based off of like the fiber content either. You have to like think about the whole fit and how it fits your body.
But because like I was perpetually either trying to lose weight or gaining weight, I never wanted to invest in any quality pieces because I'm like, I'm not going to be the size. Either I'm going to be fatter or lower. Like it's going to go one way or the other, but it's not going to be stable.
I think it's really important to dress for the body you have now. Instead of saying like, oh, I'm going to lose 15 pounds and then I'll feel really good in my clothes. There's no reason to not feel good right now. Like in this shape that you are and the body that you have, like your body does so much for you. It carries you like throughout your entire day. So why not dress for the body that you have and feel good in what you own?
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Oh my gosh, you're going to hate this story, but also I want to point it out for listeners. When we lived in Oregon for about 5 years, and it's like, I grew up in Southern California, so Oregon winters are significantly cold to me. For people in like Wisconsin, I'm sure like, they're like, oh, whatever, that's like short weather. But it was cold. It was like 18 degrees.
California too. I know, I'm like too cold.
Yeah. And so we were there, it was like 18 degrees and our friend Danny came to visit and he's like, why aren't you wearing a jacket? And I'm like, oh, because I'm losing weight. Why am I going to buy a jacket now if I'm going to lose weight, and I'll just buy one next winter when I'm at my goal weight? So I'm walking around in 18-degree weather, not wearing a jacket because I'm freaking stubborn. Like that's how it was. And it was also, I mean, part of it, I got to admit, was like my lack of self-confidence or self-worth, I'm sure had a lot to do with that because I wasn't worth spending that money on here, in my own mind. But I do want to touch on the fact that there are a lot of people who may not be able to shop at those high quality stores. What are some timeless pieces that they can look for, or what do you recommend?
For me, I feel like that's very different. It's based on the person and like what their needs are. This is something I think about often because everybody's like, oh, have a capsule wardrobe. But that capsule can look so different depending on your location, depending on what you do. So I think there's like some things that are pretty universal. Like I would say like a pair of jeans, like having blue jeans and black jeans, that's like very simple, but you can wear them with a lot, and then being able to dress them up or dress them down. A fun way to add like excitement to your outfits without having to spend a fortune, I think, is finding fun accessories. If you find accessories that make you feel like really excited and happy, I think that's really important because you can find those at a really decent price. And I do think like what you're saying, like the coat, it would be great to have a nice coat if you're in cold weather, and even something like that. So say that is a little bit big when you lose weight later on, you can have that tailored. So then it will fit you later on too. But things that you can layer would be good. I think like having really some nice sweaters that you can wear with things that like feel good, that the yarn is really nice. So there's different fabrics that have different properties. So silks, they keep you cool in the summer or they keep you warm in the winter. So things like that. I think investing in more of natural fabrics is really nice to have, like a good cotton shirt, like a button-up shirt. That's so easy. And I know that those are normally in capsule wardrobes, but there's so many ways that you can change it, like dress it up and make it your own. So things that are like more simple pieces, but you can add your flair and your personality by adding accessories. So like a fun bag or some like really cool shoes. Shoes are definitely something I think you should invest in too, just because you're using them constantly. And it's not just about looks, it's also about like walking around every single day. You're going to want something that feels really comfortable. So I'm not about like wearing super uncomfortable things just because they look good. If you don't feel comfortable in your clothes, you're not going to feel confident anyway.
Yes. Oh my gosh. You so get it. Because I've been there. Like people, like I said, I look in the outfit, I'm like, oh wow, I look really good. But I was so uncomfortable. Well, part of that is I was uncomfortable in my own skin. So that's a whole different topic. But I think it was like, this isn't me. Even though I look good, it is not me and I don't feel good in it. So that is such a huge component. And I love that you talk about looking at it as an investment in yourself, because I remember when we were buying those jeans, I mean, they weren't cheap for, they were like maybe $50. There's like jeans that are way more expensive, but there's also a lot of jeans that are way cheaper than that. And I would always buy like really cheap clothes because yeah, self-worth. But my friend was like, these jeans look really good at you. You were like so happy when you put them on. Think about it. Are you gonna wear them 30 times before they're gone? Yeah. Are you going to wear them 50 times before they're gone? Probably. That's like $1 a wear. You don't want to spend
I do think of that sometimes too. I'm like, okay, depending on how many times I wear this, then it will just pay for itself eventually.
Like when it's something that really makes you feel good, you kind of have to weigh that. Like we would spend $1 to make ourselves feel as confident as that, like every day. Is there anything that you can recommend for those that just kind of want to start dabbling in finding their sense of fashion? Where can people look for inspiration, or what kind of things should they be looking for to kind of get that going? I'm not saying that very well, but hopefully you kind of get the point of the question.
No, I think one of the biggest forms of inspiration that I have my clients look at is Pinterest. So I have like boards for different style types. And then also like even for myself, I have like a dream style board. So I'm like, these are things that I absolutely love. And what you can do is start to look at those things that you save over time. I would even start fresh right now because people's styles grow and evolve all the time. So think about where you are right now and start to create a board around things that you really love. And then you can kind of see like what feels cohesive to you. Like if any garment starts popping up a lot, then you're like, oh, okay, I'm really drawn to this. So maybe this is something that I can invest in. And I think right now it's like a great time that you can go to like thrift shops, especially after 2020, because so many people were getting rid of things and you can find really cool, unique pieces. And even like looking on Instagram, there's people who thrift shop all the time and they like make all of these pieces their own. And so you can look at different ways that you can style it that way. And they feel really unique and fresh. And even if it's something like this weird shirt from the 80s, they're like, oh, I don't know about that. You can see how you can wear it in a really cool way that feels good for your personality.
Wow, that's really cool, actually. I love that. Yeah, and to touch back on the thrift shopping, I think that's really fantastic. Actually, my husband's cousin took my daughter thrift shopping, and it was really amazing to have her come back in her own sense of style. That was the first time because of COVID that she had actually really gone out there and done it. Like
that's explored, so much fun.
Right, explored what it is that she liked, and she came back with a totally quirky style, but I love it. Like I'm like, I would have never thought. I've been trying to learn more to let them have their own sense of style, because before.
That's so fun.
Yeah, no, and a lot of that, like I said, was, I'm sure, my own childhood perceptions, because I didn't always look the way I wanted to look, and I felt like I was judged for it, and I judged myself more than anybody else ever judged me. Yeah, I always wanted to make sure they left the house like, you're gonna look good when you leave the house, because I don't want you to ever feel that way. My son, God bless his soul, will wear camouflage and plaid together if I let him, but like, why not? Maybe.
Fun. Express himself. He's a kid. Like, let him have fun. Clothes are fun. Like, even if you were to look at like all of these runway shows, they mix things that you would never expect. And you know what? Sometimes it works. And it's about like having the confidence in it that you're like, I am going to rock this. I feel great in it. So, you know what? It's so personal. So if he wants to wear that and he can pull it off, why not?
Right? That's exactly what I'm saying. I finally I think COVID kind of really helped me in this sense. Like I grew so much personally because I finally learned to let it go. We were stuck at the house anyway. And so I'm like, you know what? Like, why not? Who's going to see it anyway? Let him wear what he wants. And then I saw how it affected them. And I'm like, this really is good for them to explore. Because if they don't get the chance to explore now, he's going to be wearing camouflage and plaid when he's a grown up.
Clothing is, and dressing yourself is an art form. Yeah. So if you think about investing in pieces that are really special and unique to you, then you're like, okay, this represents me and I feel really good in it. And then to be able to mix that with other things you really like, it's like a fun experiment, but it's also you are wearing art. If you think about your clothing as someone designed this, someone made this, and I have the opportunity to wear this and to really make it feel like me, it makes the whole experience so much more exciting.
That's a really neat perspective because I think back at the movies that I would watch when I was a kid, like Cruella de Vil. Oh my gosh! So
I haven't seen the new one. I want to see it so bad.
I haven't seen it either, but I'm thinking of the very first live action where she's coming up with these fashion ideas and Cruella's all mean about it, and then she's like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing, right?" And then becomes evil. But also to think about the outfits that are in the stores now, whether it be a cheap store or an expensive store, there's someone out there who sketched that up and thought hey, these two pieces are going to go really good together. And that is their art. So that's a really interesting perspective. I'm going to walk around like a walking masterpiece. No, I'm just kidding. But
my background is in design. So I'm I know how much effort it takes into just making one piece of clothing. So to wear something and only be able to wear it 2 times and then have to get rid of it is not a good feeling. So designing clothes for people that they're going to really love and wear different ways is really important too. And something that I do with my clients that it's so exciting and really lights me up is that sometimes they have pieces they don't really want to get rid of because they have sentimental value. So for instance, one of my friends who's also a client, she had this shirt that was her grandma's and it was probably a women's extra large and she wears a smaller medium. She's pretty small. So to be able to work with her to redesign the piece, for her, it was so exciting because she was loved the shirt and it reminded her of her grandma and she didn't want to get rid of it. So I was able to work with her one-on-one to be able to redesign it. So we turned that shirt into a bodysuit and I added a little belt so she can tie it up, but it fits her and she loves it and it fits her style, but it's still something special that's no one else has.
Wow, so that's really awesome.
It's so fun and it's exciting.
I guess I'm still lost onto how do you know what looks good? I get how you look at what feels good, but gosh, I can think of a lot of things that feel good, like my pajamas that I still wouldn't want to wear outside.
So when you find something you like, to be honest, I don't suggest buying every color in something. I would say max buy 2 colors in it if you really love it, because you still don't want the overwhelm of having so many options. So one of my focuses in my business is sustainability and using more of what you already own. So trying different creative ways to wear things. Honestly, fashion should be fun. It's dress up. So why not spend a little time and try on different outfits, see what looks good. And if you don't have a professional to help you to tell you that, you can always ask your friends or family, because believe me, they will be honest with you.
It's really funny that you mentioned this, and I hope my brother doesn't kill me for telling this story. When he was in college, he's 8 years older than me, so I remember this as a kid. He was in college, he got an internship at Qualcomm, and it was the first time he had ever had to dress up for anything. Yeah. And so he didn't know how to dress himself because he's a boy. And so my mom and my sisters took him shopping, and they got him 5 pairs of pants and 5 shirts and 5 ties, one for each day of the week. But they made sure that every single one of those went well together, so he couldn't mess it up. So I think for people who might not be able to afford a huge wardrobe, you don't have to. And then there's the whole, you don't need a huge wardrobe if you have the right pieces that you can create different combinations. So I love both of those ideas because it's good for the environment. It's good for your pocketbook. And I think it's a great way to focus on quality instead of quantity, like you mentioned.
I think that's perfect because also if you're what you were saying earlier, if you have a pair of pants that's really great and you think about how many times you wear them divided by the price per day or wear, you're not spending that much if you think about it, because there's some if you go out and buy like some fast fashion items, they're only going to hold up a few wears. Those aren't meant to last. Those are meant for you to keep consuming and buying more. So if you invest in something great and like the quality is really nice and they fit you, you're going to have it a lot longer and you're going to wear it a lot more.
Right. I can hear the passion in your voice and how much joy it gives you. And I love that because I've mentioned on anybody who's been listening to my episodes or the interviews that I've done, I have such a strong belief that everyone has that little like spark or ember in them that if you just harness it, it's what you do that makes you happy and it makes the world a better place. And so that I'm really glad that you found that in that. And I think a lot of people will think like, to be that special person that makes a difference, you have to be a certain way. It can be in any aspect of life. Like I would have never thought of making a difference as a designer, but I can see now speaking to you, like that makes a huge difference in the way people feel and how they see themselves, that ripples out into all kinds of change that is occurring just because you help them pick out an outfit that matches their style and help them feel confident. And so that's amazing to me. So
100%, because this like styling and like being a personal stylist to people isn't just about like making them buy new clothes. It is so much deeper than that. And it hits on like, how do you really feel? How do you want to feel? And how is your style right now preventing you from not being in that place you really want to be? So to be able to help people find out what that is and to be able to like guide them a little bit towards that journey feels amazing, because I think that one of the reasons I'm here on this planet in general is to help people gain confidence in themselves. And whether that is through designing clothes or personal styling and using more of what people already own, I am so grateful that I'm able to use my talents and my gifts to help people feel really good.
That's awesome. I know that earlier you were saying that you are in California. Are you in Southern California?
No, I'm in the Bay Area, but I do go to Southern California and I have clients in Southern California, and I also work virtually with people.
Awesome. So while we're on that, why don't you tell us about how people can find you and ask you for your fashion advice and book a session with you? Because, I might want to be doing that soon.
You can find me. My website is LeBlancLabel.com, or you can follow me on Instagram. It's LeBlanc_label. I also have Facebook, but I'm more active on Instagram than anything. And if you do go to my website or go to my Instagram, you can click and book a free 30-minute consultation call to make sure that we'll be a right fit together and to ensure like I can help you achieve the goals that you want to create.
Dude, I'm gonna be doing that. Sorry. Excuse my Southern California dude there. But yeah, no, that's amazing. Because you're going to be starting with a blank slate with me if we work together. Like
fun. You're fun and exciting. And I feel like your clothes can easily reflect that and you can feel really good. So I would love to.
Yeah. This is probably the most adventurous my shirts get. Cause it's kind of a little funky here, but that's it. I wear like jeans, t-shirt, like maybe V-neck. V-necks are, look good to me, especially when I was overweight. Cause round face. That's like the extent of my style. So definitely a blank slate. So I would love to do that. And is there anything else that you wanted to touch on before we wrap up?
I just want to really express that don't be like overwhelmed by clothing, because I think a lot of people see all of these fashion people and they're like, oh, I will never look like them, or my body isn't like that. And that's totally okay, because there's so much beauty that everybody is unique. There's so many styles out there that can actually fit your body and make you feel good. Don't feel like you have to stick to these like unrealistic fashion standards and that's what you should look like. Everybody is so beautiful and unique as themselves. And I really like to celebrate that in my clients. And I think that's really amazing.
Yeah. And I think that, especially for me when I was really overweight, because I got up to like a little bit over 300 pounds. And that was when I was like, oh my gosh. So it was so hard for me to see myself as ever being able to be fashionable because I was overweight and, like only skinny people can afford and have the ability to buy nice clothes. But I think it's so important to know that like there's so much more diversity now in the clothing industry. You can find something that looks good. And I think that the key thing that finally clicked for me is when I saw people like Melissa McCarthy and other actresses who were overweight, at least for Hollywood standards, and they still looked fabulous.
There's so many more size inclusive brands than there were even 5 years ago. So right now it's like, it's amazing to see, because there's all of these like fake rules that they say like, oh, if you're overweight, you can just wear black and you'll look thinner. But it's like, No, that's just boring. You know, you want to feel really good. So why are you going to just drape yourself in black clothes? Or like, they'll be like, oh, it looks better if you wear something like really oversized. But if you're just covering your body, that's not embracing what you have. And I think that's really important, that we need to like get away from all of these rules and instead wear things that light you up and make you feel good.
Yeah, that's important. And there's one last thing that I want to tie into, because I just remembered what it was that I wanted to talk about earlier. When you were talking about having a simplified wardrobe and just focusing on that quality, it reminded me, I did another episode that hasn't aired yet about productivity, and his key point was simplify, simplify, simplify. And there's a reason, not just to make your life easier because you only have like 5 choices, but the way the human brain works. He showed me a study, like you literally get decision fatigued, whether it's a tiny decision of like, what shirt am I going to wear today, or a big decision, whatever the decision is, it still counts as like one decision against this decision fatigue. So just having minimal choices, even when it comes to clothes, can make you more productive and make you not as like, when you leave your house.
Agreed. A lot of my clients have really busy lives, so they're not going to be super overwhelmed every single day. Like, it's going to save them so much time to look in their closet, knowing everything it fits. Like, I really like everything in here. When I work with people, it's not just like celebrities I'm working with. I'm working with normal people who have busy lives, and they are moms, they are artists, they are working in their careers, they are looking to excel in their careers. So they're busy, you know, people have so much going on. So to be able to help them like spend time and really find out what that is, and to make sure that their clothes are fitting their needs, it saves you so much time and so much hassle and like brain power, that you're not overwhelmed. And I totally agree with that, because you don't want a closet stuffed with things that you just look at and you're like, I have nothing to wear, but still you have a million things to wear. So I think just simplifying is really great.
That, I think, in itself is empowering, to know that you can go in your closet and everything in there looks good and on you and fits. That would be amazing. Yeah, because every time I'm like, no, like I have nothing to wear. I've done that like literally probably almost every day. So I think that would be invaluable.
I just want to really express to people that you don't have to be like a celebrity to work with a stylist. Like, you can be working in your normal life and then just be like a regular person and still feel really good. I'm not dressing people for red carpet events. I'm dressing them for their actual lives. And I think it's really important to show up as yourself and the best version of yourself. And if I can help people do that by using clothes and style as a tool, like I'm doing my job.
That's awesome. So before we wrap up, I saw in the notes that you sent me that you have something about a color guide or something like that. Can you tell us a little bit about what that is and where people can find it?
Yes. So I sent you a link for the color guide. It's actually the color of psychology. So when you wear certain colors, it does affect not even just like other people mentally, but also physically. So recently I did a presentation for a singles mixer. And so I was telling them like colors to wear on a date, so that you get like a better reaction out of your potential partner. Like red, for instance, it brings on the feelings of passion, and it actually makes your heart race. People are like drawn to you and excited. But the color psychology guide, I think, is really great. And then you can use this in everyday life and know what colors look good on you. But I don't think you need to stick to like, oh, I can only wear these colors because of my hair, skin tone, things like that. You can wear colors based on like how you want to feel. Like yellow is like a very vibrant color. You feel friendly and people are drawn to that. So different colors represent so many different things. So I wanted to be able to just gift your readers with something that they can take away from this and feel really good about.
That's so true, because a lot of us who are in business, or like myself, who I do a lot of branding and things like that, you think of that when you're thinking of your logo or your color scheme for your business, but you don't really think about how that same psychology obviously works when you're wearing the art. So you need to make sure that you're conveying the proper message, right?
There's like all of these experiments about like the color of psychology or what you wear and how that affects you. Like there's actually this theory called, oh my gosh, encloth cognition, which is what you wear affects how you even think yourself. So if you're wearing something that is like more professional, then the way you think will be more like that. So if you're wearing sweats, then you're going to feel a little bit lazier and you're not going to be as productive. So it's so interesting in like that sort sense. And then also like even in the color, in the way people see you and how you present yourself.
That's amazing. And I think that was where the adage came, dress for success. You want to, dress for what makes you empowered and feel good. People took it to the whole professional success, but it really is just about your day-to-day dressing for success of what it is that you want to portray and who you want to be. And I think that's really important. And sometimes there's nothing wrong with just dressing because, you want to be a fun, casual mom or have a great day with your spouse in relaxed clothing, but that's your success for that day. Yeah, I would have never thought that's genius, but I wouldn't have put those two together. And obviously I do branding. You would think I would put like hello, but not so much. So that's great. Thank you for that valuable information. I'm going to think on that. I'm like, this is not a good color for me.
Well, gray is more of like calming, it's neutral, and it's a grounded color. So,
see, I knew that. That's why I picked it out. No, I'm just kidding. Alrighty. Thank you again so much for being here and for sharing that, because I'll go ahead and put all of your links and socials and all that in the show notes for everybody so they can find you. And yeah, I'm going to check out this color psychology guide because I want to see how that's going to relate to the wardrobe rather than just branding. Brand yourself.
Thank you so much. I loved being on here, so I appreciate that.
For you listeners, stick around and I'll be right back right after this. I got so much value from that interview. I can't wait to go through my closet and pick out the things that I love and then get rid of the rest, because maybe she can help me take this to fabulous. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for listening. I'll catch you next time on the Biz Essentials.
You've been listening to the Biz Essentials. Thanks for listening to the show. We hope you've gotten some useful and practical information, learning how to be productive, be successful, be joyful, and more importantly, be yourself, and turning your dreams into successful passion projects. By listening to this show, you've already set into motion the most important part, starting. So it's important to catch the next episode. Make sure to like, rate, and review the show. In the meantime, hook up with us on social media at Veronica Ventures and at the Biz Essentials. Till next time, this is the Biz Essentials.
Today's quote of the day is, style is saying who you are without having to speak. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time on the Biz Essentials.